Start recording.
Hello,
Stop recording.
everybody. Welcome to Chanel's Language Learning Journey podcast with your host, Chanel Patrice Hancock. I just wanted to let everybody know that I was going to try to put my podcast episodes up from Anchor to the YouTube channel, and I have to start over on YouTube from scratch because Anchor is not accessible yet with YouTube in regards to linking up the podcast feed with the YouTube channel that I have here. So I thought that I would do an episode about my tips that people can use on the go when learning a language. And this basically means that, okay, as someone that's visually impaired, I do a lot of listening to audio material. So I'm going to use the language of Italian today to explain how I would learn something in like 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And that will be my language learning for today because I might be busy doing some things where I have to take my guide dog to the vet or go grocery shopping on the bus. Things that take time for me to do across town. So, as a result of this, I take a couple minutes to do a little bit of light language learning. So I might hook my Braille display up to my iPhone and read a little bit of Hunger Italiano, which is the first Hunger Games book, in Braille. This way, I'm practicing my reading, comprehension, my spelling, my punctuation, and I'm learning new vocabulary. So I'll read a couple pages of that, and then I might go and listen to a Josh Groban song for like 3 to 4 minutes in Italian, and then I might kick it off with listening to Podcast Italiano because Podcast Italiano has transcripts you can download online, and I can download them, read them in my Braille display while I'm listening to the podcast in Italian at the same time. So I'm not only getting my listening comprehension in, but I'm getting my reading in at the same time. And then if I want to finish, I'll just go and send a message to one of my Italian friends, either WhatsApp or Facebook Instant Messenger, which are the two apps I like to use to send voice messages back and forth in a variety of different languages to friends of mine from around the world. These are just a few things that I like to do, but I also like to tell my sighted friends you can use these same tips for any type of language that you're learning, whether it's Italian, Russian, Arabic, Japanese, Cantonese, Thai. These are the things that you can do in order to be able to successfully, learn languages on the go. You can take the podcast with you. The song is already embedded in your Spotify or, your Google Play Store. Or if you have iTunes, you can download a song. Or you can even go to YouTube or TuneIn Radio where you can listen to stuff for free. I even go as far as to put in Abigail Italiano, which is a telenovela for Italy. And it's about 45 minutes long in length. And it's like 50 episodes, and I start with the first one and I'll watch that, and that'll be my Italian for the day. So if you're reading a print book or you're reading transcripts or you're reading a newspaper article or a magazine article in whatever language you're learning, you're getting some reading in. You're listening to a podcast or a song, you're getting some listening in. You can even write a quick message on Facebook Instant Messenger or Hello Talk, which is another site where you can contact people and send voice messages, and you can send videos. You can chat with people face to face, via video chat, or you can do it over the phone, or you can just write quick messages in the target language using that app along with WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger, which is what I like to use. I hope that these tips can be beneficial for everybody in the language learning community, whether you have low vision like I do, whether you have no vision, or whether you are sighted. I want to thank everybody for today's episode and watching it on YouTube. And I also want to say language learning is a journey, not a race. It's a process for which we all have to go on. And it might be a solo one, but you're not alone. That's the one thing you have to know. You're not alone, and there is a group of people out there, whether they're on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, Twitter, Skype, or YouTube, or even Facebook. There's a world out there of people that's willing to help you learn languages in fun and feel-free ways, and I'm just one of those people. I'm Chanel Patrice Hancock of Chanel's Language Learning Journey podcast, episode 2. I want to also thank the sponsors of the show, Flipboard.com, for supporting me since December, and the podcast as well. You can also find the podcast for this episode, which will be episode 80, on anchor.fm/Chanel Patrice Hancock, ChenellePatriceHancock, Chanel's Language Learning Journey Podcast, Chenelle'S Language Learning Journey Podcast. Well, I will see you guys in the next episode of Chanel's Language Learning Journey Podcast on YouTube. Thank you. Bye.
Stop recording. Button.